Hi, Fun Recap here. Today, I'd be explaining an interesting Nigerian movie titled Unlawfully Yours. Have fun watching. The movie begins with a scene where a very hardworking and busy barrister was being interviewed by the press. It then shifts into a scene where a young man named Toby was on a serious call with someone. He was telling the person that he needed to talk to someone who wasn't willing to speak to him, and that was important. Apparently, the person he wanted to talk to was his girlfriend's brother. He was in charge of his travel documents, but while he was traveling, when he got to the airport, he was told that the documents were fake, and then now he was left stranded in a hotel and didn't know what to do and needed to reach out to him, but to no avail. The next day, he was thrown out of the hotel where he was lodging because he hadn't made the required payment. Since he had no money and no one to turn to, he ended up at his girlfriend's house. But the security man there told him that madam had traveled and there was no one in the house. He found himself back on the streets because he tried reaching her severally, but to no avail, and none of her friends were willing to allow him to talk to her. He remembered how his girlfriend had encouraged him to sell all his properties and travel out to do his masters abroad so he could have a better life. He trusted her to the extent that he made her take charge of the finances of everything he was selling, his house, cars, and also her brother was the one who was responsible for all his paperwork because he claimed to have an agency which he works with. Everything he sold, the money was to be transferred to his girlfriend's account, and agreement he had with her was that she would send him half of the money once he gets to his destination and use the remaining half for her own upkeep while he was away. But now he had nothing, was broke with no property, and was on the streets because he couldn't reach his girlfriend and she was nowhere to be found. At night, he went back to his house and pleaded with the current owner, who was the barrister, to give him a place to stay, at least sleep for the night, because he was stranded and had nowhere to go. And the woman allowed him in with the condition that he sleeps at the boys' quarters. The next day, she told her best friend about what happened the previous night because she went to buy the house with her. She expressed how angry and pissed she was that he was back in the house seeking for her help because he was very rude to them the day they went to buy the house from him and treated them with no regard or respect. But her friend told her to take it easy on him because maybe he was going through something and just needed a place to stay for some days till he figured things out, and that she didn't see him to be harmful. He went back to his girlfriend's house to seek answers, but this time the securities wouldn't even let him in. He was told that she had traveled out of the country, and that was when he realized he had been scammed. At night, he sat somewhere along the roadside to rest or sleep because he had nowhere to go. But unfortunately for him, he was spotted by robbers and was robbed of his phone, bags, clothes, and any other thing he had on him. With no other option, he went back to his house, which he had sold already, to plead with the barrister again to at least allow him sleep there for some days till he figured things out. She didn't want him to stay and started shouting on him to leave angrily, but her friend told her to at least allow him stay because she didn't think he was harmful, and then they could use his help. Maybe he could help them with the gate or house chores or any other things. So he was allowed to stay there as a help and a gate man. That night, he cried like a baby. The next morning, he was washing the lady's car when she came out and started yelling at him for doing that because he never asked him to, and told him to stay out of her lane, and that if she doesn't ask him to do anything for her, he shouldn't. When he tried preparing something for himself, she insulted him and asked him to leave her kitchen because he had mixed up the place and the place was too disgusting, and never to ever try cooking in her kitchen again. As the days went by, she treated him so badly like a nobody and spoke to him with no regards, to the extent that even when he tries doing something to please her, she will still end up complaining. One day she had a problem with her car and Toby was the one who helped her fix it, and at the end he had to drive her to work. But that didn't change anything because she still treated him like a nobody. One morning, she offered him a job that she needed a driver and was willing to pay him if he would drive her to work every day, and he agreed. But still, things didn't change between them concerning the way she treated her, except she said she was going to change his wardrobe and buy him new clothes because he didn't want him to be embarrassing her when he drops her off at work because of his appearance. One day, he went to see her urgently to beg her for her favor. His mom was at the gate, obviously there to visit him because she couldn't reach him. Also because she thought he still lived there and that was his house, and wanted her to help him cover up his secrets concerning him losing his job and everything, because his mom had high blood pressure and he didn't want to trigger it. He begged her to pretend to be his friend who had come to visit him, even though she was the original owner of the house, in his mom's presence, so she wouldn't suspect anything should she leave. She refused and insulted him that he was out of his mind, but second thoughts, looking at how desperate he was and how he was pleading, and with the mother at the gate at the moment, they had no other option than for her to agree to stick to the plan for the time being, but gave him the condition that his mom had to leave in 3 days maximum. His mom warmed up to the barrister immediately she saw her and pretended as if she didn't even hear her son say she was just a friend. She complimented her and told her son how happy she was that he left his ex for a decent lady like this. Even though she wasn't comfortable, she kept calm, played along, and gave a gentle smile to everything she said. As time went by, she warmed up to Toby's mother as well. She enjoyed her company and they did so many things together, like watching movies and chatting, because she treated her like her daughter and she also saw her like the mother she never had. She even had to share her room with Toby so the woman wouldn't suspect they weren't a couple. But she slept on the bed whilst Toby slept on the floor. She used to have weird nightmares every night, which caught Toby's attention. His mom was also very helpful around the house to the extent that she used to make the barrister breakfast every morning before they left for work, which made her very happy. Her relationship with Toby also got better ever since his mom arrived, because she stopped treating him as mean as she used to. Anytime they see a sign of their mom coming to their room, they quickly pack up and pretend as if she shared the same bed with Toby. One day on their way to work, Toby opened up to her and told her everything about himself, his life, how things used to be for him, and what his ex did to him, which caused him to end up in this situation. He also told her that she was applying for jobs and was hoping that one day he will get accepted and get back on his feet eventually. It was just hard that he had to start from the beginning again after everything he had and where he had got into in life. If not for the traveling he wanted to travel, all this wouldn't have happened. She also understood him and was even proud of him for still picking up his pieces and working hard to get back on his feet, because he felt many people would just give up on life after such an experience of being scammed by someone they loved and trusted. One day, he was searching the newspapers if he could find any job opportunities when his mom started approaching them. So he quickly hid the papers and pretended as if he was just having a conversation with his girlfriend. His mom joined them to talk, and while jesting, she realized the lady was having neck pains. So she told Toby to go massage her back and neck for her. Even though he was reluctant about it, her mom kept pushing him to go help his girlfriend out, and the lady couldn't say anything because she didn't want anything that would make the woman suspect they weren't a couple or anything of that sort. So she sat quietly while Toby massaged her back under his mommy's watch. Her friend also noticed a change in her and how happy she was ever since she had a woman's company, and started teasing her about it every time they go to work. One day, he was having a conversation with the barrister concerning his joblessness when his mom overheard him. She confronted him about it and he had no other option than to tell her the truth. After everything that her son told her, she felt so bad that her son didn't have anything and she was just there like a burden on them. She also felt that it was the lady who was spending on her and felt like a burden, which made her feel like leaving the house. The next day, she packed her belongings and decided to leave, but the barrister saw her on her way out and begged her to stay. He told her she wasn't a burden and that she really enjoyed her company and wanted her to stay with her for some time. So she agreed and they went back into the house. That night, she had one of her episodes and begged Toby to sleep by her, which he did. They had a conversation, and through that he confessed to her how he felt about her, that he was interested in her Turns out she also liked him, so they started dating. One day, Toby came with the good news that he had gotten a job back and he was accepted back into the company he was working with, and he had the same position he was, which meant he has gotten his job back, which made everyone so happy for him, and everything started going on normal. Toby's relationship with the barrister also kept getting better every day because the love they had for each other developed, which made both of them happier than ever. Soon it was time for his mom to go back to the village because she has so much to go take care of, and she promised that she would come back and visit because that was what her daughter-in-law wanted. She maintained a good relationship and friendship with her friend, also her colleague at work, and kept her updated about everything that has been happening in her relationship with Toby. And her friend also told her that she saw online that Toby's ex-girlfriend, who had scammed him, was arrested for scamming someone else. Apparently, that was what she used to do: scam innocent rich men who were hardworking and run away with their money. And this time around, whoever she scammed got her arrested. The two friends were happy about her downfall, but also grateful that whatever happened, because if it hadn't happened that way, Toby and her wouldn't have met and fallen in love in the first place. One day when she returned from work, her mother-in-law gave her a surprise visit as she promised, which made her so happy. Unlawfully yours. The end. Thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, kindly give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos like this. See you on the next episode.